Happy holiday seasons! Hi Lumineers! Welcome to the Lighter Side Show live on Facebook. I love these live ones. Go ahead and put your fingers to the keyboard. We want to hear from you. Grace is coming through today. Maybe it's just Grace. I don't know. We did a channeling just a moment ago with a new addition for Graceful Insights. Her name is Jolly. She's an incredible spirit, and Maitland came in at the beginning of it and kind of stole a few minutes there. Oh my goodness. And look, Josie, we got your card and your gift. Oh, it's so sweet. Lumineers, like the attention to detail, like the little leaves. You know, I'm an arts and crafter. I kind of love this stuff. So it's so sweet and perfect. I just want to say thank you very much. And Susan and Sunny, look. It's a pillow of a Lumineer and their little horse. Milan's going to go crazy. You should hear her, like, in my head as the package was being opened. It was just like, that's mine! She, like, totally laid claim to it. I was like, well,
it's adorable.
I'm going to put it in
so
my
cute.
chair, but you could probably touch it if you want, Maitland. Isn't that sweet? Sunny is gorgeous horse. A gorgeous horse. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Few housekeeping notes, not many. I am going to keep up with my series online for basic and intermediate mediumship. Basically, what we do here is we gather our community online. I send you a package in the mail that has the things that you need to use, like cards and aromatherapy, crystals. God, there's so many things I keep forgetting. Chakra chart, sage, and, you know, some... I call it prayer wood. And then I teach from the tools that I've sent you. And what I'm doing is getting you guys used to what your abilities are and being able to identify and define them better for you. Because I think where I got lost when I was learning kind of what was going on with me, when I showed up to other teachers, they were like, well, this is how you do it. And they would teach very direct, and it wouldn't fit. So I've come to find out we're all snowflakes and very different. So I will teach to your learning style, whether that's visual, audio, or kinetic, and then teach to your psychic style, whether that's clairvoyant, clairaudient, or clairsensitive. And we have a lot of fun. We get you used to understanding the information in subtle light energy, tell some jokes, we communicate quite a bit. Then we get you into doing readings for others, understanding the meaning behind color and what people are going through, seeing energy. And then the last bit, the advanced class that's here in Atlanta in March, is going to be how do you channel that information. So going beyond just the automatic writing and the knowing, but how do we get it through your body? And so you can use this as starting your own career in channeling or doing readings for family, friends, and others. Yes, I like the others. Maybe you're giving a reading to your dog. No judgment. Okay, also we're going to have Luma Summit in fall 2017. Yay! So we're getting together the lecturers and healers that I want to have present for you guys. And what's next? That's it, right?
No, the advanced mediumship.
We did that. She was sleeping.
Okay. I wasn't sleeping. I was typing.
She was typing. Well, that's it. So, Lumineers, if you're sensitive, please know that you might have a shift in your room or within your body. Grace tends to have this very sweet, very opening feeling. The one thing I love so much about her is when she's around me, I have this distinct awareness that everything is going to be okay, no matter what's going on. And that's always been her kind of thumbprint for me when I feel that. I look around and I go, Grace, thank you so much. She's usually right there. And for those of you who can see, then check out around my head on your computer screen. Kind of unfocus your eyes a little bit. Don't blink. Don't extremely focus. Just kind of gaze out. See if you can see the sparks and the light changing around my head. Let's have some fun. Ooh, there's some sparklies in this room. That's cool. It still fascinates me. I mean, come on. All right, I'm making sure. Okay. I get a little nervous. Here we go. One more time. One more time.
I can always tell by your smirk.
Ooh, now I know I'm not going to do it anymore. This pillow's mine. I love Sunny so much. And now I have a picture. My favorite thing, Lumineers, I want to start a Luma wall and get everybody's picture when you see something that's a Luma something. And then I'm going to tape it to the wall and I'm going to write like the Luma cat, the Luma horse, Luma sidewalk, Luma tree, Luma, like, and then have a whole Luma wall. I'm very happy about that, Mom. Jamie said that I could do it. And so I want to do it. And I want to have, oh, it's got a zipper. Huh. So I want to have, look at that. Oh, the pillow is inside. I'll stop. So, Luma wall, send us your Luma images, and then I want to make that my backdrop. Please.
For your segment.
For
I
my
love
segment,
that.
because we're about to build a stage, and there's going to be a backdrop that comes, and you roll it out, and so I want my backdrop to be everybody's pictures and the words of like Luma tree and Luma, because I think I really like the name Lumineers, and it wasn't even my idea, and I'm sad it wasn't my idea. So then when I come on, they'll set the stage and I'll have my wall. Can I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. I'll take a picture of myself and I'll do Luma Kid. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm here, and I was just curious because you sent in a lot of questions right there.
We have questions?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Can I answer a few of those?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't paying attention yet because I wasn't thinking that we were going to do this yet, but we can do it.
Is that okay?
I don't see why not.
Okay. Ooh, it's like wings.
Okay, we have a question from Rob Holmes.
Hi, Rob Holmes. We write books.
So I am just going to say right now, the questions that we're giving to you right now, the rest of the questions when Grace comes through, we're going to keep them political oriented. But we'll give you other questions right now.
Okay, good.
Okay. If a soul chooses a human life because it's aware of all the experience that a human will have in life from birth to death, then how can there be a human life to choose from because each human needed a soul in the first place to have had a life? My logical mind is stuck in a loop. Let me keep going, or is that enough?
Is the chicken versus what comes first, the chicken or the egg question, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see where you could say that.
I mean, if you boil it down, Rob, you're asking, I think what will satisfy your head just for a little bit is to not think so human, because when we think of like a Kit Kat bar, there's 4 bars in a Kit Kat bar. 4. And so we think, okay, so the Kit Kat is one soul, but we can break it into 4 pieces real easily, and it still has all the ingredients, it has everything, and these 4 Kit Kat sticks can live and do all that, but they're still part of the main bar. But see, what our human brain doesn't get is I can just take a piece of the chocolate off the Kit Kat bar, and it still possesses the entire whole of the packaged bar, even though it's just a tiny piece. And scientifically, it's the definition of holon, Holon. It's being divided, but yet still a whole in and of itself and part of the whole. And it doesn't exist in our 3-dimensional visual world when you're a person, because if you break something, it's broken. It's not a part of the whole anymore, and you don't see it being connected. And so that gets very confusing because, Rob, you're defining spiritual things in a very human way. So I'd like for you to think possibility and start describing spiritual things in a non-human way, because that's what will help your kind of growing out and evolution out. I would start reading more of Bruce Lipton, and what's the other guy's name? Dean Radin. He's a scientist too, and that will help you give you more vocabulary to describe it. Did that help?
It did, yeah. I was focused on the camera, so I was half listening
What's
to
wrong
you.
with the camera?
Well, I was trying to get so the focus is better. It looks great on our camera for the show, but not necessarily on Facebook. So I was trying to fix that.
Jamie broke her finger,
She did.
and she doesn't have her cast on
That's
it.
her middle finger, what you're doing right now. So, do you know what that means? No. She doesn't have her cast on. Do you want another question?
I want one more.
One more.
Actually, I want two more,
You.
and then I'll go.
Okay.
I promise.
Oh, Maitland, say I'm not ready for you. Oh, I didn't know you were coming in.
Can I have one time where I come in and we just ask questions?
Just any questions?
Just any question, and we just go.
And they can be about anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm
We'll have to talk. We'll have to
listening
talk
you
to
guys.
Jamie about it, and then, maybe in 2017.
Oh, the year is ending.
Okay, this is a question from Daisy Duke, and this is a question that we like because we like the NVC. Grace, is Marshall Rosenberg?
He's dead.
He is in heaven. He is in heaven. What do you guys think about nonviolent communication, and do you think it will be more mainstream in some time?
It will be more mainstream. It's not going to be right away. But in about another decade, you'll see that our language and the way we choose to communicate and problem solve is going to be drastically different. It's very exciting. So if you want to be part of that movement, I would go ahead and start learning nonviolent communication, and I would especially put your children in workshops and programs for nonviolent communication. They are running NVC in some of the middle schools now around the world, but it's not common. But these are the people who are going to end up being our leaders and who are going to problem solve in an open way, and it's going to be very powerful. I'm making them here in Atlanta at the Center for Love and Light do more nonviolent communication.
And we love that. I'm fixing the microphone for Facebook to get it a
I'll get closer.
little bit closer to you.
Hi. I'm ready. One more, and I'll say bye.
Okay, this is from Amy Farragher.
Hi,
And
Amy.
Amy is asking, this is her kitty question, and she is asking, I think her cat is missing. Is my cat alive? Is he going to come home? Can I find him somewhere?
Amy, when did your cat leave, and what's your cat's name? The quality of your question equals the quality of your answer. So anytime that you can give like markers, like this is the name, this is the date.
She sent a more detailed question in to me, and I didn't have that available today because I didn't know you were coming through and answering questions. I thought it was all Grace. So hopefully she'll say on here,
I'm sneaky.
you are sneaky. We like your sneakiness. I'm just not prepared.
Amy, I'll get an answer to you, okay? Don't worry.
Last month, his name is Toulouse, and does he have a message? So he's been missing since last month, and his name is Toulouse. Toulouse. Toulouse.
Amy, I'm sorry to give news, but your cat is not going to be coming home to you. So go ahead and send all the love and push that forward to him. He's still living, and he's being loved. I was going to say held hostage by a loving family, but he doesn't feel like he's being held hostage. It's just strange to him that he has a new life. He does have an injury now on his upper leg on the right side, his shoulders. So he is being cared for, and he's not at the vet's. But if you would like, I would go and talk to vets and leave a picture of your cat in case he's to come in. But he has not passed away. But I don't see a way of him coming back to you. Unless you like aggressively advertise and push for it. So it's happy and sad at the same time. I smell tea.
That's Grace's tea.
I have to go.
Bye, Maylin. It was nice seeing you again.
Bye. Next time, me and all your questions. I love this so much. Send me your pictures so I can make my wall. I'm going to have the best backdrop. I know it. See you later, alligators.
After a while, crocodile.
I'll see you soon, baboons.
Bye-bye, butterfly.
Toodaloo, kangaroo.
Cutting you loose, monkey.
Oh, I was about to say that one. That was my next one. You win this time. Bye. Hello.
Hello.
So much has changed in here. Did you hear that?
It was like a pop in your jaw. Pop in Jamie's jaw.
It's not set right. Sometimes I think Maitland can really shift. It's always the fingers feel like they've been milked, like if they were udders, and just pulled. And so when you get in the body after Maitland, it's like you need a moment to get the body to remember who you are and to adjust to you. Oh, all these lovely things everywhere. Hello, Lumineers. I first off want to show my gratitude and my thanks, especially to Josie, and handling and creating such a wonderful Lumineer community online. Thank you very much. And to all of you who have been reaching out to me and asking for insight, guidance, and answers, I am so excited for you, because once you start to engage and reach out and ask, you start to find your level of energy increasing. You start to see your perception changing and your acceptance of others shifting. And so this is your moment of enlightenment. It is happening as we speak. I so wish you were in front of me instead of behind that camera. So do put your fingers to the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Type. Do type in your questions. I would love to hear them. Also, I'm going to speak briefly about something that I feel is very alive in many countries today, not just the one I'm sitting in now. I mean, even my own country is up in upheaval for several years and several more years. But it is addressing political change around you and addressing it in a way where you can still feel safe and confident. I want to let you know from our end, in heaven, home, the beyond, that there is a sensation that we experience when masses of people have the same reaction. Now, I'll tell it in a funny way and then in a tragic way. imagine the first day, opening day at the theater, the movies of Star Wars. Theaters across the United States, all in other countries, masses of people going in and witnessing something that they have never seen before in their life, never heard before. In all of their reactions, their vibrations, their awe, rising up out of the theaters, reaching us, changing the vibrational pattern. It was an amazing sensation. And you're thinking simply from a movie. But yes, because it was happening simultaneously. Now, we can take something as tragic as war, or 9/11, or recent elections worldwide, where masses of people are having moments of fear and moments of grieving and moments of suffering. And these vibrations collect together and they rise up. And then those that weren't reacting, that weren't associated to what was occurring, are now feeling side effects of the masses having the experience. And we're feeling the same. So I wanted to give you a way of visualizing of how a group of people feeling the same effects can create a larger domino effect, not just in your world and on your earth, but in the beyond as well. We are ever so connected. You are not in a fishbowl, and us on the outside of the fishbowl, tapping the glass, going, oh, look at them, they're running. They're swimming quickly and fast away. They're in fear. Look at that. Ting, ting, ting. Absolutely not. We're all in this fishbowl. But I think where you're falling short is you're thinking small.
Train.
There's our pet train. I really enjoyed last time. Somewhere in the lighter side, you had suggested we should name this plant. It's a fake plant. But Jamie has this thing now where she names everything. And I rather liked the name Eliza and Sigmund. So I think I'm down to those two.
No final decision yet?
No final decision.
Okay.
I have to decide, is it a boy or a girl? You know, it's very elegant, but it's kind of chunky and strong with the concrete. So I'm thinking boy, so maybe Sigmund. It's a good strong name. Sigmund the plant. I loved the suggestions coming in. There's so much fun here, just in the Lumineer community, getting back to how many people feeling one vibration, learning through fun, having joy, and taking part in the silliness of naming a fake plant on set. All of the people joining, the vibration becomes very light-hearted, and then all of a sudden it starts to expand and it domino effects into others. This is why this, in my viewpoint, the Lumineer community is so special, because you are uniquely joyful.
I'm moving the Facebook camera so they can see the plant.
Oh, Sigmund, come here. Can I move it?
I can move.
Will I hurt it? Yeah, this is Sigmund. When we look at other spiritual communities, they tend to focus more on doing the work and being good at the work and constant healing, work, healing, work, and getting it right. And I think here, the way that all of us are choosing to learn and to grow is through laughter and humor. And how quickly the vibration is rising And you're choosing to keep it up. So I'm very proud of you. Can you hear me beyond the train? Because I would like to continue, but I want to be aware of its noisiness to prove a point.
There you go. Perfect. You ask and you shall receive.
And that is your lesson in manifesting. That is simply the train ending. So when we look at political choices, a lot of us who are sensitive, who identify with being spiritual, open, humanity-driven, caring for all as well as caring for self, are feeling as if they're being misled. Or some of you, I've heard that you have felt as if you've been robbed of an experienced leader. And I want to say to you, because you are feeling these sensations, it is showing you that you have a deeper desire to leave a better mark. Now, in knowing this, a very small percentage of you move forward to leave a mark. I mean, is there a raise of hands right now who has written a letter to your state representative? Who has written a letter to your minister? Who has written a letter to your local governor or mayor? Who has set up a meeting to file a complaint or ask to be heard? Because if we continue along with the conflict of internal suffering because of a larger structure, and we choose not to ask to be heard, then we are not showing up for a proper, healthy relationship. For anyone who has been in a marriage or a relationship, there's a lot of times where we look at our partner and we say to ourselves, can't they tell I need them? Can't they tell I need the hug? Can't they tell I really want them to stay with me, that I don't want them to go? And I'll say to you, can't you tell that they are not telepathic? Can't you see that they cannot read your mind? They are not able to read your body language. They are not able to listen to you in the state of being that you are in. They are not telepathic. Your government, your political structures are not telepathic. And whether you enjoy this or not, you are in a relationship with them. Now, you can choose to be aloof and not get involved. And to that point, I say, be sure that you are happy and joyful about being aloof and allowing others to make the laws and make the choices for you. Because if you choose to be aloof and then be angry about what's being done, you are conflicting with your own energy. And I see a lot, the masses of this upset and this fear and these emotions are because of just that one example. So many people have chosen to be hands-off because they don't know what to do, they don't know how to ask to be heard, or they just don't want to be involved in the mess because they've already identified it as an awful mess. And it doesn't align with their humanity, it doesn't align with how they would like to live their life. I will say, if that is you, be happy with it, be joyful no matter what answers and laws come upon you. Now, if you would like to change this and not be happy with whatever comes, but contribute, then now comes the time where you can identify, yes, they don't align with my definition of humanity. It doesn't align with how I want to show up. But yet I need to be heard so they know that there's another person out here that needs a change to fit them, to support them. Have you ever stopped to think about why laws are made in the first place? Oh, please type in. They're made for safety, protection, right? To stay healthy, to advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves, be it through handicap or illness, right? Or children, yes. Those are all good answers. Then why aren't we joyful for where we are now? I like to bring up that so many of us, there are different ways to enlightenment. So many of us have thought long and hard about what enlightenment would look like. How do I increase my vibrations? How do I be a better person? And that is done in air quotes because it's not necessarily being better or worse. When we look at raising our vibrations, it's to match that of the Earth's. Mother Earth has a vibration that is constantly increasing. And as humans, we're not taught from a young age to pay attention to this heartbeat or this vibration. We only become aware of it when we are at war with it, when it conflicts with us. And some of us, our bodies have already decided to blow out the vibration and increase and match the Earth's. Complete harmony. But our head, our way of thinking, our way of communicating, our way of showing up and perceiving the world has not done it yet. But the body has. And all of a sudden the body is developing allergies, inflammation, it's angry, it's bloated, has a racing heart. And you take this body and you hand it to a doctor and you say it's broken. The doctor looks it over and says, it looks fine to me. It looks good. So if this is happening to you, I'd like for you to see that this is a way of acknowledging your body has increased its vibrations to meet that of the Earth's in harmony, but your consciousness hasn't done so yet. So begin to raise the vibration of your communication, of your words, of how you perceive the environment. Start being heard. Start speaking out about what your needs are. Nonviolent communication was mentioned prior. I believe this is a great place to start in learning how to communicate what your needs are. Personally, locally, community, state-wise, and country-wise. Now, some of us have climbed enlightenment where we can perceive it. We have increased our vibration in our heads. We know this kind of communication. We are doing it in our bodies. Well, they haven't increased their vibration. They are lower, denser. They are sluggish. They are slow. They're hurting. And that's when we need to acknowledge self first. We may perceive how we want to show up in the world, and we may understand to speak about our needs, but we forgot to bring along our own vessel. Look at your diet, look at your sleep, look at your environment, your home. All of this change that is happening across the world is to bring what we like to call enlightenment to to earth. It's demanding to be seen. Every voice matters. Every voice contributes. Now, I've seen a lot of lumineers who are witnessing a change occur, and they don't enjoy it, or they feel overwhelmed, or they feel they must provide for the entire world, that they need to be big. They need to be big to make a difference, be big to be seen or heard. But I like for you to remember, when you feel overwhelmed by greatness, by something larger, be simple. Become very simple and begin to look at the one small action that you can do on your side, and then tell one person about your action. So if your heart is sinking about the political environment around you, get pen to paper and write your state representative. The old-fashioned way, not the way of texting or emailing. I'm sure they're getting all of that, but the very classic, put a stamp on it, handwritten expression. And then tell one person. Because the energy that is released from doing that one very direct, small action is much greater and much powerful than all of the worrying you could ever do. All the dreaming in your head about what if it were to align and I got to speak, or I got to travel there, or see that, or show my family this, or bring forward something else. Yes, dreaming helps manifest and brings you to where your goals are, but the very small direct action releases more energy into the direction of your manifestation than all that dreaming and worrying. Let's get simple. Let's make more of an impact with less effort. Let's start changing this awareness of being human and saying, no pain, no gain. We don't need any more pain, and we don't need any more suffering. I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to know what you're thinking and how I can help. Do you have anything?
We do have some questions for you. The first one I have is from Jay Good.
Hello, Jay.
How do we best connect political work with spiritual work? So often political work, on the right or left, can be without love as its basis. How helpful are groups like Black Lives Matter? Is it helpful to contribute to these groups as a true way for anti-racism work?
Thank you so much for bringing this up. You are right, political work and spiritual work. Political work these days are mostly driven by money and by power. And so if we boil down power and money, we can look at it as an energetic form, which is in its truest form. And so it's all of a exchange, inter-exchange, a manipulation of energy. Now, in looking at how that energy can supply for the greater whole. I'm not going to say greater good, because good suggests that there is something better than something else. I like to take the approach of all that is. Let's unwind our judgments out of this. That's how political work and spiritual work can be closer together. And let's start looking at how can we help a better communication between the two. And this would simply be addressing what the needs are. And if the needs are not truly needs, but they are wants or desires or imbalanced with a greed and not serving the whole, then that's where change can be implemented. And when change is implemented and it's supporting the whole and needs met, then there is a great sense of balance and acceptance. So I would work on that first inside of your own mind and heart, and then I would work with it in your immediate community, which could be your family and friends, and then maybe in your workforce. And then if you are in the government, if you are in the political work, I would begin to address it there. It is not an easy road, Jay. Being nonviolent and understanding of people's needs without the labels is hard, long work. It takes time. So we have to surrender the concept of getting it done quickly and getting it done right. Because this does not fit with being nonviolent and meeting needs. Because we're dealing with people who don't understand what they need. They may have been taught that more money equals more love and more security. And that might not be a truth for them. And they will need time to come to that realization before being able to convey what they really need. Now, Jay, you were able to pull apart a specific group, Black Lives Matter. And indeed, they do. Now, in looking at supporting individual groups, we are not contributing to the whole. We are contributing to a part of the whole. I feel where we have failed in addressing racism and addressing being separate or individual is that we have latched on to identifying markers of each other. Be it as something as simple as you are taller than me, you are bigger than me, you are a man, you are a woman, you are Black, you are Asian, you are Latino, you are Caucasian. All of these differences are being fed by the language that you naturally have been taught. The English language is extremely violent. There are more words for separatism than unity. There are more words for hate than there are for love. So right now, the tools that you're using to communicate are not very strong. So in learning how to express your language in a way where it does unify the whole, that will help the cause more. Please do not believe or think that I am stating that individual groups that are gathering who are like, whether they are same-colored skin or same sex or same age, that they are not valuable. That is not true. Finding a community of likeness is very powerful. But I want you to know that if you only attract to that of what is like, that in and of itself is a form of racism and separatism. So we must be aware of how the pendulum swings. It is hard to want to fight for the whole and not fight at all. In the midst of standing up for ourselves as humans, sometimes our passion turns to hatred. The ones that are the most angry with us, the most hurt, are indeed the ones we will need to love the most. They're not asking to be taught. They're asking to be accepted and loved. So Jay, I would encourage learning nonviolent communication. I would encourage you to understand what is it like to love thy enemy, to understand where they come from. And when I specify understanding them, I don't mean taking on their cause. I believe the most valuable gift we could give anyone at any time is to be present with them, to hear them, to acknowledge them, and to be open to them. And that is a good, very small, specific way to start. We will get through this dance together.
You ready for another question?
Yes, please.
Okay, I have a question from Reagan Flores. Reagan says, I'm tired of people fighting for everything. How can we truly obtain results? By taking action with calm and kindness and being strong in nonviolent communication. And I'd like to add on to this if I can, Reagan. There's a situation going on in the U.S. right now called Standing Rock, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but a lot of the water protectors are trying to stay in prayer and be nonviolent. And is this a way to make change?
Standing Rock in the United States is a good example. Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard of this yet, Lumineers, please research it. Observe how they're handling this situation. It is a Native American preservation that has had laws in place for hundreds of years, that now the money of oiling industry and corporations have paid to have the laws changed so that there may be work done on the reservation. It is a huge injustice. So Reagan, when we look at getting results, when I hear you express getting results, I hear frustration. I hear a need to have it now, a need to see that there is some movement towards a resolution. One of the hardest things to understand is when we choose to be nonviolent, we have to let other people's violence wear out. If we observe Gandhi's story in refusing to feed himself, which is one of the most violent acts anybody could do upon their own body, he would starve himself for weeks before the anger wore itself down. He would put himself into hospitals. So I bring up the example because when we're looking at results, it might come a decade later instead of next year. But if you would like to contribute to the movement, it is, Reagan, doing the one act, whether it's pen to paper, whether it's going to Standing Rock and practicing nonviolence, showing your face, being proud to link arms and to stand tall. And Reagan, maybe it's about being certified with counseling or debating, and then offering yourself in a more political viewpoint to be a mediator between lawyers, lawmakers, and citizens. There are so many places we could dedicate ourselves to. I like to open up the idea of why is life valuable? We teach our children to think about what they would like to be when they grow up. What do you want to be when you grow up? And I believe that is such a lovely way to think about it, but in the same efforts is the routine and the schooling And all the things put in place by the last 100 years, is that really the best choices for us? Is it really most important? Or is it that it is most important that humanity survives? That we gather around and we talk to each other. We get around the fire and we share our stories and we feed our bodies and we take care of our land. So I challenge your priorities and I challenge your values. Because what we do today, in this moment, is what the younger generation will feel. And it is what our humanity will become. I give you permission to close up shop, to change career. I hope you can give yourself permission to change how you are showing up to get the results that you would like to see. Reagan, being heard is a very strong action. And I believe that would fit your definition of fight. So go be heard. Blogs, writing, finding other groups that are writing, connecting people, encouragement. I hope this helps.
It does. I have a question from Amy Willis. It seems as though the president-elect, Donald Trump, is organizing a group of folks whose collective beliefs seem to set us back years. Should we see this setback as a means for people to awaken to a broader perspective by watching the limited beliefs of others play out on the world stage? And we also had another comment from someone in Canada who was stating that be aware that the political climate and racism is spilling out of the U.S. I live in Canada and there's racism like never before, even in schools. It's happening everywhere. They'd like you to address that.
It's quite unfortunate that the United States President-elect Trump is making the news worldwide. And because of his extreme use of freedom of speech, he is releasing so many people's needs to be heard. And these people are mostly those of anger, who've been quiet too long, who feel as if the women are being set back. What about the men? So we have a lot of very young, immature adults in the world. And it's due for several reasons. When we became an industrial nation, a lot of people got sent away and became a part of a status quo, became a part of hierarchy, became a part of even a hierarchy in education. And of course, this is throughout history of people on earth, but it became more prominent. And with the earth, each year, creating more people and more population, there wasn't enough attention placed on well-being. It began to get ignored. And with it being ignored, the governments and laws that were put in place chose to ignore it as well. So you can see a story of being disconnected in so many different ways. And then when we received President-elect Trump, which, Amy, I would love for you to see this as an example of pooling all the pain and the hurt and the hatred and the racism out of its last hole so that it can be seen, so that the ones who have been speaking about, oh, United States is all for one and one for all, it is the place of freedom, can truly see it is not, that there are still things that need to be healed. I think our little Maitland said it best: when we have a wound on our body, it scabs over and it heals itself. But sometimes the wound is so deep, and when the scab is created, the wound festers and it becomes worse. But on the surface, it looks healed. But in the belly, it is angry and it is sore. And sometimes we need to manually open the wound so that it can be seen by the light, so it can be healed and flushed out. President-elect Trump is helping that wound cut open. It is helping it being flushed out so that we can see that people still have ego intact. They still have the need to be seen as righteous, as a better than something else. And this needs to be discussed. It needs to be pulled together. It will make our communities stronger. It will make our schools stronger, because now we will recognize that power is not in the hands of the president. It is not in the hands of government. It is not in the hands of the prime minister. It is in the hands of the people. The people have the power. Those that lead follow the power. We can take President Obama as an example. When he first started his presidency, his talks, he was against same-sex marriage. He didn't see it as being something that was needed. But then he began to listen. And he heard people claim that it was a right that they needed to have. And there were so many voices speaking out that he himself changed and then began to say that it is a right for same-sex people to be married. I'm behind it. He heard, he learned, and he changed position. That is what makes a good leader. To listen, but the voices have to speak up. So once we see that the power is not high above it, that it's in our hands, our teachers will stand up, our communities will rally, we'll begin to care, provide for each other. And of course, the same on the other side, we will have those that will rally in war and rally to fight. But this is what will give us the opportunity to teach the nonviolent communication, to understand needs, and to ask for that to be resolved. So, Amy, though it is unsettling, the United States is absolutely in the center of the media world, and because of Trump's bold speaking and lack of compassion to others, finally, viewers around the world are saying, finally, somebody who is like me. We haven't seen this in a political standpoint in history. And so there are others that are resonating with it, saying, finally, I am like that. I need to be heard like that. And so when they all raise their hands, guess what, Amy? We can see them. And we can help them understand that we are people. All people are alike and the same. And that we are indeed made from the same thread.
I think our time's up.
Oh, it cannot be up.
It is.
Can we end on one more?
Sure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So the question from Karina. And Karina, first I'd like to say, Amy says she loves you to pieces. She wants you to know that before I get
Thank
to
you
this.
so much, Amy.
Karina asks Grace, what is the purpose as to why we help people in other countries have water and food, but we seem to lack the same attention and efforts in our own country? I'm assuming that Karina is talking about the United States here. Can you please explain why we choose to put attention into other areas first? Shouldn't we help ourselves first so that we can be a strong country that can help other countries properly?
I very much stand behind you, Karina. But when we start to look at why does a nation do something of this effort, it is simply the nation's ego. It is saying, look upon us. We have provided here, there, and there, but yet they don't have the strength to look at their own body. It is not taking care of self first, clearly. But if they only put efforts into their own countries, then how will they make allies? How will they be seen as someone who is in charge and in control and a strong care provider for others? It is a position of power. Sometimes we do this with our own bodies. Jamie, last night, knew very well that she was going to spend today channeling. And in her past, she will eat lightly the day prior. She will not drink. She eats whole foods, and she allows her body to be primed. In knowing all of this, she chose not to agree to it. She had Mexican food, which doesn't settle well with her, Willie's, and she had a margarita, knowing in every sip this was not going to help her body on the next day. So, though we are very aware and conscious, there are times where we need ebb and flow. When we think of things being consistent, it is most likely, Corinne, that they will break. Consistency does not work well with energy. Energy lives, it moves, it has abundance, it has weakness, it has strength, it has absence. So just like with Jamie, such consistency in caring for herself, that the permission to do so and do so willingly, knowingly, that she had to make adjustments in the morning and not eat breakfast and calm her body down. But here sometimes in the nation, we have it where we make all of these adjustments. Consciously we give to others, but then we're not slowing down to make the adjustments with ourselves. And this is aligning in a way. Not only do we see the hands of the people who feel they haven't been heard for centuries, but we also see the hands of people who need support and food. Turning into a mother and father country, a ma and pop. Ma and pa. Is that how you say it? Ma and pa. Country, where we will begin to care for ourselves and small communities. Do you know that they have machines that you can buy, or you can download the blueprint for free and put it together yourself. And it is a machine that you put in your backyard, and you insert the seeds into the machine, and it will grow for you every season all the food that you as a single person would need. It waters it, it weeds it, it harvests it. It is a computer that understands the full spectrum of the little garden that it needs to maintain. We are moving towards self-care, and you'll see more of it, and it'll ease your heart. But again, Lumineers, when you notice that you're overwhelmed, that your heart is hurting, your compassion cannot take another bruise, it means it's calling to you. It's speaking to you. Come out of your house, come out of your home, do one action and tell someone else about it so it may inspire them to do one action. I don't need consistency from you, but I need you to show up. Follow through with the one action. Thank you so much for being here. I feel extremely blessed today. It is definitely a dawn of a new era, and it is not anything to be afraid of. Godspeed.